All right, all right, all right. Party people in the house, let's get it started. Whoa. So I haven't been on for a couple days, and that's okay. Man, we're right. It's today. Today is Tuesday, August 25th, 2025, and this is Yoda Live. I am Yoda, spelled Yoddah, because film studios are litigious. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. I'm a little stuffy today. I don't know if it's allergies or what the story is. Someone has joined us. RDJ. Bulk, how you doing? Coming in and out as always. Bit of the old in and out. Anybody know what that is from? What's that line from? Bit of the old in and out. Or is it in and out? Get now. Seen that in a long, long time. And I think with a Clockwork Orange, one viewing might be enough. You might never have to watch that twice. Oh, I apologize. I sniffed into the mic. Anyway, hello, Grandy. Hello, Pietro. Pietro Unscripted. That is an unscripted rock. Pietro. It's a strong name. All right, let me invite a few folks to come in. And when I say a few, it's actually way more than a few. I'm inviting 40 people in, so that's many. Or you could even say dozens, right? I'm inviting dozens of. See what we can see. I started late today. Normally I come up at noon, but it just didn't work out that way. I actually had a doctor appointment, routine follow up kind of thing. Nothing to be alarmed about. And we discovered that I am still alive. All right, so we've got. I'm good, Grandy. Thank you for asking. I'm a little congested. Tiny Science, thank you for being here, folks. If you haven't checked out Tiny Science's live, it's really really good. Um, it's like he goes heavy on the science and heavy on the philosophy, and philosophy is definitely not an area where I thrive. I have the basics, the bare minimum, thimble full cursory kind of knowledge, but I'm not really good at like following the logical process and pointing out logical fallacies and understanding how those go. You know, Douglas says, "Do you going? Do you goon?" That's funny. Do I goon? Oh, Douglas, I know, you're probably new to adult entertainment. That's like exciting for you to ask that question, but it's goofy as fuck. Tiny Science says, "Oh, it's not hard. Mostly just recognizing terms and definitions." Yeah, and I just haven't dedicated myself to it. And I when I hear you breaking down people's arguments and eviscerating their goofy logic, I'm very impressed by how you do that. Um, I do it in my own way, but I just do it a different way. I do it just through brute force mostly. Oh boy. And Douglas is continuing with his childish nonsense. If I goon, will I not make it to heaven? I don't know. I don't worry about like fictitious places, so I don't know. Toker says, Bro Obvious has not committed daily wage theft. It's truly divine. I don't know. How many sentences was that supposed to be? Was that supposed to be one, two? I don't even know. Yes, tiny science. That I think that's a place where you excel. When you said, "I love to do what I love to do is point out absurdity of their claims using their own arguments." Yeah, what I love is when people try to use science and not science at the same time. That's hilarious to me. When people are like, "Well, you know, when we look at the universe and we consider this factor and that factor," and then they're like, "Well, it all equals God." I'm like, how does that happen? Okay, we have someone wanting to come up. It is, let's see, they don't make it easy to see. Political players. Is that what that says?
Yeah. Not political
Excellent.
place, but yeah,
Political plays. Thank you. Political plays. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Was listening to you and heard you, doing the talking about how people would use science and religion at the same time, and I wanted to have a conversation with you about your topic, not using one word from the Bible, not
Fantastic.
one.
And also, what I actually said was trying to use science and not science at the same time. But
Okay,
but that's close enough. So fire away.
sure. And I'm really just going to give you a premise because I'm genuinely interested. Okay, like I'm not going to beat you over the head with no religious anything. And we don't even necessarily have to talk about the Christian Bible, right? What I'm going to mention here
We
is
can just get to the point. So just say what you're going to
oh,
say.
fascinating. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I think that atheists have to make a giant leap of faith just as much as any God believer.
Hmm.
The reason I say this is because if you do not believe in a God, then you have to believe in one of the following. You have to either believe that the universe has simply always existed, or you have to believe that the universe spontaneously came into existence. We have evidence for neither one of those things happening in our day to day life. We have observed nothing scientific that has simply always been. We have no evidence for anything that has simply always been. And we have never observed anything coming into being except on an unbelievably subatomic level of quarks. But I mean, the theories of quarks being the possibility of creating everything that's known are slim at best. So, my argument in question would be knowing those two leaps of faith that an atheist would have to take, knowing that there is no proof, why is it not feasible then to believe in a God, which would essentially be a seventh or eighth dimensional being removed from our ability of science to test its
First of
existence?
all, I'm not going to answer for atheists because that would be absurd. So I don't know why you're asking me to on a question based on a group of people. If you want to ask me a question, then go ahead. But why are you asking me to represent a group of people?
Is that really the best response to everything I've just asked you here today?
I don't give a fuck whether it's the best or not. That's the response I gave you.
You're going to ignore the question I asked then.
No, I'm not. I'm going to ask if you're asking me to respond on behalf of a group of people, or would you like me to respond about what I think?
I'm speaking with you. Are
Yes,
you
but
going
you
to be
asked me
rude and,
about
and
it.
weird, or are you going to answer the question?
Look, fuckface. I don't give a fuck how you think I'm running my show.
I don't
I
converse with
don't,
cowards, dude. I'd
yeah,
beat your ass.
fuck you. Listen, it's very simple, folks. And I love where he left on a high note. I'd eat your ass. Good for you. I'm glad you're attracted to me. But like, you're goofy because you're like, well, this is the only thing that you can believe, which is not true. And then I want you to, why do atheists do such and such? I don't give a fuck about what atheists do. I'm not here representing atheists. I'm here speaking by myself for myself. Okay? So like your childish attempt to get me to speak on behalf of other people is ridiculous. And I don't care whether you like that or not. I'm not here to please you. I don't give a fuck about your opinion of me or my show. I'm here to have conversations which you clearly couldn't have. Let's see. Emily, how do you know the Bible is real but believe other fairy tales are fake? That's a good question, Emily. It's a question that I've brought up many times. Um, it's funny. I didn't even play the song I had queued up for today. Here's what I'd like everybody to do. There's 17 people in here. I'd like you to take the next few minutes listening to some fun Afrobeat music. It's maybe 3.5 minutes, but invite as many people as you can. And the way to do that is gently place your finger on the middle of the screen around my nose or my giant forehead, and your friends list will pop up, and you just hit send for as many times as you can to each one of those people. So let's do that. Once you're done doing that, tap on the screen. Let's get the party started.
International vibes.
This is the second voice, and it's called Let Me Be.
Yeah. Let me be, let me. When you move like that on me, let me be. Don't stop, don't talk, just feel, let me be. Yeah, right there, move.
Let's send up some heart me's too.
No stress, no rules. You're always talking, I'm cool. Low lights, one dream. Your body moving on beat.
Thank you, Mama Kai.
Say you feel it. I feel it. Say you ready. I'm ready. Let me be. Let me be, let me. Let me be. When you grind that slow on me. Let me be. Let me be, let me be. Tonight, we free, no sleep. No love talk, just motion. Loud. Let me be, let me. When you move like that on me, let me be, let me. Don't stop, don't talk, just feel. Don't stop, let me.
Disco Tits 420. Thank you for the heartbeat. Tiny Science, thank you for the heartbeat.
Yeah, again.
Okay.
Don't stop.
Pop Todd, thank you for the heartbeat.
International vibes.
The other night I spent, it had to be like, I think it was between a half hour and 45 minutes listening to that song over and over again with shorts of people dancing to it. Oh, I loved it. It was spectacular. So, all right. So let's see if we can have someone come up and have a real conversation. Someone's waiting to come up. All right. It says cut sign, I think.
Yo,
How you doing?
I'm alright, bro. How are you?
I am excellent. Thank you for asking. I'm a little bit awake now because I just had an energy drink, so I got chemicals coursing through my veins to keep me alert.
Damn, bro.
So So God is just your imagination. And you know what? I didn't do this earlier, so if you'll indulge me, I'll just take a few seconds to add a little substance to that. Number one, I don't care if anyone imagines God, gods, unicorns, dragons. I don't care what anybody imagines. It's all fine to me. I see no harm in imagining a God, and I don't ever want to discourage anyone from imagining a God. That's not my goal here. But I put this topic up because the only place I've ever seen evidence of the existence of God is people saying, I believe in God. Outside of that, I've seen no evidence that God exists, so I have concluded that God is just your imagination. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay. So I would just like to ask, do you think we only know things like by sense experience? It's like if you don't see something, does it exist or no?
Sure, I don't see air, but I know that air exists.
Okay. Um, so what do you think of something like mathematics, right? I promise I'll try to relate this to God. But what do you think of something like mathematics? Is this just all imaginary? Like, did we create it or is it discovered?
Was it
You can take your time.
discovered? I don't know. No, thank you for allowing me to take my time on my live show. Um, so, is it discovered? I don't know. I guess it depends on how you're looking at the word discovery, but uh, I would say that math is something that humans created.
Okay. So if math was something humans created, could we change the laws of mathematics?
Well, I guess in essence we can because because mathematics kind of unfolded over time, so they have been changed at times. So I guess so.
Okay. So if are you aware of the laws of logic?
Some of them. So look, these questions tend to bore the shit out of me. So if you have something that you'd like to say, I would prefer that you just say it.
Okay. Well, the whole point is that these things are discovered, and if they're discovered, right, they go sort of beyond our imagination.
What things are discovered?
Mathematics.
Okay, what does that have to do with God?
Right, because if mathematics is discovered, it existed beyond us, right? And I would actually argue that mathematics is somewhat eternal. And so if it is eternal, right, it has to be existing in some sort of thing, right? I would say
Yeah,
that
I mean,
mathematics is
those are a bunch of claims in a row. Okay.
you wanted me to get to the point, right?
Yeah, which you don't seem to be able to do. So, do you think you could speed up the process and just tell us what you think? What is the like? Do you believe God exists?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and what is your proof of that?
Yeah, so I would say we need a mind to I guess ground these concepts of mathematics, and since it's eternal, we need an eternal mind, which is God.
Okay, great. So you haven't proved anything. You've just laid out more claims.
And this is
Okay.
why I asked you to be at the beginning, right?
No,
Do you take things that are
you
beyond
don't need
sense
me.
experience?
You don't need me to tell me what you think and to give me your evidence. You don't need me for that.
What's evidence?
Just like I didn't need you to say what I said in the beginning about why I think God is just your imagination. I didn't ask you one fucking question that whole time. When I was done, I asked you what you thought about it, and then you meandered into all this other nonsense, and then finally I asked you what your proof of God is after you told me that God exists, and then you just laid out more claims without any proof.
So I went down a line of questioning to go down my argument, right? And this is why at the very beginning, the reason why I'm saying this is important that I asked you if you accept evidence beyond sense experience. Yeah, the reason why it's important is because if you don't accept my form of argumentation, the reason that I provide, I can't convince you. And so this is why I asked from the beginning.
But see, this is, to me, that is a really childish way of entering a conversation, that we all have to agree on all of the different parameters, on all of the different definitions of words before I can start talking. Why don't we just assume that we're sharing a common language that we've all agreed on, and then you can just express your idea and I can either accept it or not. And if you have more proof than just math is eternal, so we need an eternal mind, so therefore God. That's not proof of anything. That's an assumption that's another claim that you're putting forth.
Okay,
Right.
so
So
I'll go to that claim.
if that to you is proof, then sorry, we're definitely on a different page as far as what we think proof is. I'm
Uh,
thinking of proof more like the kind of proof you would bring to a courtroom.
And this is why, so look, I'll explain why mathematics is eternal, right? The laws of
Okay.
logic,
Hey,
law of non.
I'll tell you what.
Logic.
Hold that thought for a moment. We have a couple other people that would like to come in, and before we
Do you want
keep
to?
on this.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we have JC. JC, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing today?
I'm pretty good.
All right. Oh, the other person left. They probably came up by accident. So JC, the prompt is God is just your imagination. Do you agree or disagree? JC? Oh, suddenly your sound went away.
But so would you like me to continue my explanation? I thought we were having a conversation.
No. I said hold that thought so I could bring other people up. You said okay, which indicated to me that you understood what the fuck that meant.
Well, I shouldn't be waiting like 10 minutes for a conversation.
Okay, so now you're gonna wait forever because I don't give a fuck. JC, are you there? I guess not. Let's see. JC was there. Something must have happened with his mic. JC, if you want, you can drop down and try again. Maybe something's going on technologically. I don't know. Try to accept a couple more people here. And we have...
Hi, I was just wondering if you're letting up people who agree.
Yeah, is it what is it? Fubahos?
It's just an abbreviation. My name's Arabella.
Okay, Arabella, how old are you?
I'm 19. I was just wondering if you were letting up people who agree with you.
Sure.
Okay.
And now that you're here, what would you like to say?
Oh no, I just agree.
Okay, and what brought you to that conclusion?
Well, first of all, like you've said, there's no concrete evidence of there being a God. And not only that, I do not believe in the Christian God because I do not believe that even if there was to be concrete evidence, I do not believe that it is possible to have an all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-loving God in this world, because then there would not be such things as natural disasters, there would not be child rape, there would not be assault, all these kind of things would not exist because that would not be possible to allow if it was physically possible. And if you would allow it, then I do not consider that to be a God worthy of worship.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. As a matter of fact, I think the moral argument is one of the strongest ones. The idea of a God who's all powerful and all good. Why would all this suffering exist if that were the case? Like one example that I like to put out. JC, I muted you because you have a lot of background noise, so stay muted for now. Work out whatever mic issue you're having, or whatever. But like for instance, every day, 25,000 people starve to perishing, and that includes 8,000 children, right? So what kind of omnipotent being would have that as a reality of daily life? That happens every single day, right? And then on top of that, if you want to take it beyond the human realm, because then people talk about morality and maybe those people are evil, as if some 3-year-old starving in the desert is evil somehow. But what about the animal kingdom? Since herbivores exist, that means that God, if there was a God, had the ability to make all animals herbivores, including humans. So then predation and violence and all that wouldn't have to take place every single day in order for sustenance. So yeah, I agree with all of your points. Let's see. We have,
Can you hear me?
Now I can finally hear you. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. So I would like to distinguish a few things. One, yes, I do believe that God exists. But I would say because of the infinite nature, and I know how this sounds, but you have to listen. Because of the infinite
Well,
nature of God.
I don't have to listen to anything, but I will listen.
Well, I wasn't. That wasn't like a directive claim. It was more. I was more so using that like colloquially.
I
As in,
just heard the words you said, bro, and then I responded to it.
I
So
know, I know, but
so
I
go
was using
ahead.
it colloquially. I was using it
Fine.
colloquially. It was
Go
not a
ahead.
command.
Go ahead.
But because of the infinite nature of God, being the universe, the multiverse, everything that is, it would be difficult to put that in one type of language and to express it. It would be very difficult to express everything that is in like a few sentences. So to say that he doesn't exist, I would call that a hard, like it would be very difficult to say that he doesn't exist if he is defined as
it's
everything.
funny because I haven't said that. What I've said is I've seen no evidence to prove that he exists.
I know, and
He or
I'm getting to
she,
that point. I'm getting to that point.
or whatever God is.
I'm
Since
getting to that point.
even the Bible seems to be confused about what God is and how many there are. So,
Well, I think it's confusing. One, because there aren't many educated people, and two, because of the infinite nature. So there's more than one.
What do you mean there aren't many educated people?
Well, college educated people even today only account for like 30% of the population.
So
Back then, literacy was lower.
So going to college proves that you're schooled. It doesn't necessarily mean you're educated, and you don't need college
I would
to
say
be
that
educated.
I think that education is actually defined as like going to school. I think you're saying intelligence is one thing, but education does require like a degree.
But
You are
I was
educated when you
using the
have a degree.
word colloquially. Isn't that fun? So anyway, let's say hello to a couple other people who came.
Well, I mean, I never
have,
got to finish my point though.
And that's okay, and you might, but let's say hello to Leprechaun. How you doing?
Yo,
Okay.
what's up?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Leprechaun. How are you?
Yo, what's up?
What's up? Okay, we got a donut there. Okay, and we have looks like life's Sue, something like that.
Yo, yeah, why are you folding?
Why am I folding?
What's wrong with our
Watch.
conversation?
Watch. Look how quickly I folded again. All right, so we have Chidu something. Chi-Town, is it? Hello?
Yeah, hello?
How you doing?
I'm well. Sorry about yourself.
I am doing wonderfully. Thank you for asking. So you seem a little muffled, so hopefully you can get closer to your mic. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to hear your evidence for what, well, I want to hear your evidence for why the Christian God isn't real.
Well, the burden of evidence is actually on people who think he is real. Since you can't prove nothing, I have as much evidence against God being real as I do against unicorns being real. So that's kind of a useless conversation. So since you think God is real, the burden of evidence is really on you. So why don't you give me your evidence for him being real?
Well, me personally, I can't speak to the accuracy of saying that the Christian God is actually a real entity. But I mean, we do have nature. We see how we breathe on our own. But I mean, that's also evidence of just
So I'm sorry if I
biology.
understood you correctly, because I'm having a hard time hearing you. So it sounds like you said because we see nature and we breathe, these things are evidence of God. Is
It's
that is
it's
is that
evidence it's evidence of intelligence outside of ourselves that we can see visually in 3D.
okay? So what do you mean by intelligence outside of ourselves?
I mean, when I say intelligence outside of ourselves, we see our environment around us. Let's say, for example, like a tree. A tree
Right?
grows.
Yeah.
A tree is able to exchange oxygen. I'm sorry, is able to exchange carbon and give us back oxygen. And it's able to die. and then regenerate itself and come back as another tree and spread itself out. Kind of like how
Well,
human
maybe
beings.
maybe maybe instead of dying, it just hibernates.
Yes, but that's also a process of shedding, of changing, of evolving.
Okay, right.
Mm-hmm. I I think we see that with a lot of intelligent life forms, with animals, plant life, bacteria, and then also human beings.
Okay,
And I
and
think
so how does that all equal God?
I think I think it equals God because something has to get that spark to that organism in order for it to understand that it must do certain things in order to survive.
Okay, so that's a claim, and so and slash a belief, and I understand that belief, but there's no evidence that that belief is true. By the way, folks, I have 50 roses up for grabs as a live goal. So if all of the 67 people in here would just grab one, that would be done immediately. But before we
We do
continue,
have
we have
evidence, though.
Papa Todd, Jen. How you doing?
Hey, doing good.
Hey, it's good, good. So what's on your mind today?
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk with you and be on your live. And I just wanted to sit here for a minute with you while I'm at lunch and just listen to some proof.
Thank you,
I've
thank you.
been,
So
yeah,
JC, I think that was you who just said we have evidence.
Yes. So, and it would be evidence constructed in the same way we accept evidence in other academic contexts.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I sort of like to point this out to people is if you were to ask me for a proof of the claim, x to the n plus y to the n is equal to z to the m plus n, we would expect proof in a particular way, right?
Okay.
Yes, we would expect mathematical proof. It's a mathematical statement. We're looking for evidence in a certain way. That evidence will be agreed upon by a community of educated people. This is how evidence works in the discourses
math
that
is
we
already
have
And
with
proven.
logic.
you know what's
But
interesting
okay.
about what you're saying? I love when people reference educated people and intellectuals and
I
all
do
this.
have a PhD.
That's wonderful.
Great.
Philosophers, mostly, I think over 60%, say that there is no evidence for God. Scientists, the vast majority of them. And as a matter of fact, since you're a PhD, you know this, the
Yes.
higher up your education goes, the less belief that there is evidence for God. So that's kind of ironic to me that you're referencing, intelligent people. But go ahead.
It shouldn't be ironic, but I am also
Well,
very aware of history.
that's a weird thing to say. It shouldn't be ironic. It is
Well,
to
if I could
me.
finish my statement,
So no, I'll finish
I
my
didn't.
statement
I
first.
did, but
Okay,
you're interrupting me.
I'll finish my statement first,
You
which
asked
is
me to
no,
reply.
yeah, I replied, and then you told me I shouldn't. What I said shouldn't have been. Okay, so now I'm
So
going to
you're
answer
interrupting me.
that. So I'm going to answer that because you interrupted me.
That wasn't a
So I'm going to
question.
answer that. So bye.
That's not a.
I'm done. I'm done with this fucking guy. Oh my God. I try my best to have discourse with people, but then people get all wound up and can't fucking have a back and forth like normal human beings. Jesus Christ.
So he's acting like we're not
Let me
smart enough to know.
and this is I think this is a what could I call this? Sort of a mind exercise for everybody. The idea of should and shouldn't is actually kind of ridiculous. Okay? Like if you make a mistake, right? And someone tells you you shouldn't have done that or you should have done something different, then what do you do with that advice? I mean, I guess first you'd have to build a time machine, right? Because you have to go back in time to do that thing over again, but in a different way, right? So there's literally no way to like take that advice. You shouldn't have done that, or you should have done something else. And if I say something is ironic to me, telling me that I shouldn't feel that way is fucking stupid, because that's how I felt. So of course I should have felt that way or thought that way. What a ridiculous thing to say to someone. Oh, it shouldn't be that. What kind of way is that to fucking have a conversation? Oh, you should, because we could do that all day. As soon as someone says something, I could go, well, you shouldn't have said that. or you shouldn't think like that, or you shouldn't feel like that. Well, that goes nowhere.
Don't shit on people.
Yeah, you're shooting. That Anthony Robbins likes to say, you're shooting all over yourself,
Yep.
right? Yeah, shouldn't is like fucking useless. Like, you know, like if I'm here's my chapstick, right? Now, if I open my fingers and it falls, is there anyone that's going to say that shouldn't have happened? No, because we understand fucking gravity. Right? So no one's going to say, "Oh, when you let go of something suspended, it shouldn't fall." So this shouldn't shit is just, it's such a waste of fucking time. Oh, anyway. So anyway, anybody have any other thoughts they'd like to share? Oh.
What if I could ask you a question? What made you not believe in a higher divinity? I would say, or higher consciousness. I guess.
Well, those are two different things, right? Higher divinity, I don't even know what that means. Higher
I'm so.
consciousness, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I believe that there are powers in the world and in the universe that are stronger than humanity, like gravity. That's
Mm-hmm.
obviously something we are subject to. Um, you know, no matter what structures human beings build, no matter how big they are, no matter how strong they are, no matter how tall they are, the earth could shake a little bit and swallow that right up. A wave could come and sweep that out to sea effortlessly. So
Mm-hmm.
clearly, it's easy to see examples around me of things that are stronger than me. Like squirrels run faster than humans do.
Yes.
Okay. So it's kind of easy to see that there are higher powers, whether those things are individualized or personified or anthropomorphized, whatever you want to say it. Anthropomorphized is, I think, is the word I was looking for. That's a different story altogether. But you know, recognizing how higher powers to me is easy. I don't know if that answered your question fully, though.
You did. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and you know, like I think that the world is fascinating enough as it is. I don't need to add mysticism to it. You know, it's fun. It's fun to write about dragons. Like, I didn't like Game of Thrones as a television show because to me it was just a soap opera, but it was a soap opera that had dragons in it. So, luckily, on another platform, some people cobbled together all of the dragon scenes from Game of Thrones. So I would watch that because I love that shit. That shit is fun to think about, a giant lizard that flies and breathes fire, right? That's pretty fucking wild. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there was a Matthew McConaughey film. Oh fuck. Rain of Fire. Rain of Fire.
Mhm.
Right? They took a real, like, practical Anne Rice type approach to the existence of dragons. And I found it fascinating, right? So, but I don't need that to be fascinated by regular life, right? I am fascinated by the fact that a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. That's amazing to
Mm-hmm.
me, right?
Those
I'm
changes in the
I'm
life
I'm
cycle.
I'm amazed that the same rain that fell on Alexander the Great falls on me. That's fucking wild to me. All right. The same rain that fell on dinosaurs falls on me. All right. So I don't need all this extra shit. I'm the same way with schmecks with a woman. I don't need extra shit. I just like to be inside.
But
Oh,
if you're not putting in well, I guess in a relationship, if you're not putting in the work, if you're just looking for the physical gratification, are you really fulfilling yourself, or are you just fulfilling the cardinal
well,
primal
we're
nature?
that's a different topic altogether, right? I was talking about physical pleasure. You're talking about relationships.
I mean that what
Correct.
comes with the physical pleasure, And
Not
I mean,
necessarily. Not necessarily.
yeah, because it is casual relationship stuff like
I mean, yeah. I mean, and well, you know what? Since you brought it up, let's go. Fuck it. Since nobody else is coming up to talk about God, let's talk about human relationships. It is clear to me that at a certain point, humans took a wrong turn when it comes to relationships. And I think part of that wrong turn is adding complexity to what relationships really are. Like, for instance, let's think about humans prehistory, right? Because we wouldn't be here without them. And if they had all the goofy rules that we have come up with about pulling out chairs and 3 dates is this and this dinner is this and a ring means this and all this other horse shit that we've added to it, and love languages and pair bonding and blah, all this other horse shit. Some of that, pair bonding probably doesn't belong on that list because that is a biological thing. But all this complexity that human beings have added to it have not helped at all. In fact, the fact that population growth is slowing kind of suggests that it hurt human beings, because when you look at other mammals, they size each other up, and more often than not, the male has to do something to prove to the woman that he's the right male for her, whether that's strength, capability, or beauty, or in the case of a lion, all three, right? And then the woman accepts the male, and then they get together, and most of the time, those two don't stay together. That's the model of relationship that we have in nature. And human beings complicated that. Part of that had to do with paternity. At a certain point, you became responsible financially to take care of a child, which I think is perfectly fine. But that means you had to ensure paternity, which meant that monogamy was the best choice for that, right? But monogamy is just that. It's a choice. It's an option. It's not a biological imperative at all. And any evolutionary biologist will tell you that. Monogamy is not the default setting for human beings. We lost one person. JC wants to come back in, but I'm not interested. So anyway, so what do you think of that idea in terms of relationship? And please unmute yourselves to respond.
that.
Chi-Town, go ahead.
I think that the male female relationships have just changed over that standpoint because we've evolved as people. I think we've evolved.
Evolved how? That's a strong word. So give me an example of how we've evolved.
I say so. You said humanoid beings. I assume you mean pre-human, um,
And humans
Homo
too.
habilis, Homo
Let's
erectus.
if you want to just go with humans, let's look at the last 300,000 years. How have we evolved in 300,000 years?
Our technology has evolved. Our
Technology
well,
evolving is not us evolving. Technology is technology.
is that not our intelligence expanding?
Yeah, but that's not us evolving necessarily. We have always had the capacity to create things, to invent things. We've been doing it for almost the whole time we've been here, right? First it was sharpening stones, then it was creating the lever, then the wheel, then harnessing fire, then creating clothing and structures and agriculture and things like that. So we have always had the capacity to manipulate the nature around us, and it's true that technology has continued to progress as our tools to create technology and refine technology have progressed. In fact, if you look at the time span from, just to take something familiar and arbitrary, but 1898, it was incandescent light. So if you take that from that to now, 128 years, you're looking at the most inventions in all of human history combined before that. Okay, so obviously we've had this explosion of inventions over the last 100 or so years, but that's still not human beings evolving. That's our technology changing and improving, more or less. Some people would make the case that we have devolved somewhat, like the fact that our pinky toes seem to be disappearing. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that we have organs in our bodies that we don't use, which
Yep.
is like the appendix. The fact that we have this bump behind our ear where our ears used to move like the ears of dogs and cats because it was critically important for our ancestors to be able
Be able to
to
hear.
identify, not just hear, but to be able to identify the direction from which the sound came.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So they can know where to
because
run.
yeah, where not to run and where to run, right? So if you hear something behind you, you know you can't turn around and run toward that because that thing behind you will likely have the ability to eat you. So you want to make sure that you can identify the direction of the sound, right? So for animals around us, they still have that capability because they're still in that phase of their development where it's absolutely critical.
So do you think that the Renaissance, women's liberation, feminism, do you think those degress society into the ways and means that you see now, and what you mean in relationships where we place so much emphasis on it that we miss the point?
I don't think it's one thing at all. So I'm glad that you mentioned several factors. I think the biggest factor, from my perspective, is religion. I think religion has done more damage to humans than just about anything else that's not like a disease or something. Like the first story in the Bible is very, very clever to fill us with shame and fear.
Mm.
Okay, so for instance, the first thing that they noticed, the first truth that they noticed after they ate the fruit was what? Do you remember?
They were naked.
Right. And how did they feel? What was the first feeling they had about being naked?
Shame.
Exactly. So that story was there to tell you indirectly that your naked body is a shameful thing. So it's like, well, wait a second. Didn't you just tell me God designed me? Why would
Mm.
like that doesn't make any
Why would he?
fucking
Why would he
sense?
now curse me?
Yeah,
Why would he now curse me?
yeah, so you designed this body, and then the first thing that I feel about discovering the fact that I'm naked, and really as opposed to what? Like there was no need for clothes. It was just two of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so you created a place where I didn't need clothing, right? Because by the way, humans are the only animals that wear clothes voluntarily. No other animal
Yes.
does that, right? So you created me naked, and then the first thing you wanted me to know is that my nudity is shameful. How fucking bizarre is that? You
But then
know?
you got to remember the tree that they ate from. They ate from the tree of knowledge and life.
Yeah,
So they finally gained knowledge,
yeah.
and God said, "Ye are of God." Well, that was
And
one of his
and
statements.
also God lied because he told Eve that if she ate the fruit of
Fruit
the
she
tree of
surely
knowledge
died.
that she would die on this day, and she didn't, so he was a liar.
Mm.
So the story is
But
problematic
but can
for
I ask
many
you?
reasons.
But can I ask you though? Did God mean in the physical sense, or did He mean in the spiritual sense?
He didn't specify. So if he said you would die, if he just left that out there, right? Because again,
You would assume it'd be physical
if
death.
you are the omnipotent being and you want to communicate a story, don't you think you can communicate it very clearly so that nobody
Yes.
would have to ask a question about what you meant,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That nobody would have to question your
Yeah.
interpretation of what you mean.
Yeah. You know, we wouldn't have all these different versions of the Bible. We wouldn't have, you know, after the you know, whatever original one, Sinai text, I guess. Why would we have all
The
these
Nicene
different?
Creed by Constantine and
Yeah, why
the Roman
why do
Catholic
we
Church.
need all these different versions of it if the omnipotent creator of the universe gave us these instructions? You know, and the even the 10 commandments don't make sense, right? You're looking
Can I
at
add on to that?
yeah, before you do, like, imagine that you have the power to create the universe, right? And you have the power to create humans and animals and everything on Earth and everything in the cosmos. And then you give a book of instructions, you give or a list of 10 things that are instructions about how to live. And the first thing you say is, don't worship anybody but me.
He's
Don't
selfish.
worship
He's a
any
jealous
other
God.
gods but me, which, by the way, acknowledges that there are more than one God, right? He said, don't worship any other
Polytheism.
gods but me. Don't make any statues of anything that's not me. Don't work on my day off. These seem very, very childish and insecure. But what were you going to say?
I agree with every point you just made, but also everyone knows, and I think most of us can acknowledge the fact that the Bible has been mistranslated since it was created thousands of years ago. There are obviously mistranslations, but you cannot use that to defend it, because if you have an all-powerful, all-knowing God who wants us to live by that, then he would not allow it to be mistranslated. He would magically correct it because he is all-powerful. And if we are supposed to be living by the book, then why should we be living off of a fake one when he could easily fix it?
Yeah, and also, you know, to a point that you made earlier about the morality of the book, like, so you're telling me if my brother doesn't believe this stuff, I have to end his life?
I gotta stone him,
How does that fucking make sense?
or my wife cheat, or you think your
Doesn't
wife
it say
cheated,
that?
then she gets stoned.
My
Well,
apologies for cutting you off.
no worries. Well, wives cheating is kind of tricky because you can get around that with just 50 shekels of silver.
Yep.
Yeah, you can grape a woman and you have to pay her father 50 shackles of silver and then force her to marry you.
Right.
And also, doesn't it say in the Bible that you're supposed to kill people who practice witchcraft?
Yeah, I believe so. And
So,
I'm real bad on remembering exact verses, but I'm pretty sure witchcraft is covered pretty extensively in the Bible.
it is. My mother is a devout Christian and I am actually a pagan witch. But obviously my mother has not killed me. And
Yeah.
also, to
Yeah,
add on to
by
that,
the way, we have to
I am
avoid
not.
violent words, so just say merc or
Oh, my apologies.
something like
I'm
that.
alive.
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
TikTok
my
thing.
apologies.
Yeah.
But to add on to that, what about me practicing witchcraft? First of all, it does not affect anyone else. The second part is it does not by any means say that I deserve to be unalived.
Right.
And also, it also cannot at all excuse and define my entire life when I put my entire life into human rights. I am actually in law school to become a human rights attorney. I
Good for
study
you.
law in multiple countries.
We need more people like you for sure.
Like, there is my practicing on my own. And yes, a lot of Christian traditions are taken from pagans, but that's not the point. Your Bible is saying that we should unalive people, grape. It actually says we can own slaves on multiple times. So the morality is not just that it could not exist if he was all loving, all powerful, and all knowing, but it's also the fact that he, the God or whoever wrote the book, is very okay with these things that would not be okay and should never be considered okay.
Wow, this guy JC is like acting like a 5-year-old. He goes, he didn't compliment my degrees. Holy shit. Holy shit.
And then you also
Well,
gotta put
because
it in
I'm not being
historical
stupid about my degrees and I'm not trying to flaunt it. I've
Yeah.
been up here for a while without mentioning that I'm a law student. I've been up here for a while without mentioning my beliefs because I don't need that to prove that I'm educated.
I agree. You sounded pretty educated to me without ever mentioning that. Hey, Jessica, what's cooking?
Hi, Yoda. How are you today?
I am wonderful. I have consumed some chemicals in the form of a sports drink, and I am all chipper right now.
Really? Look at you go. I don't think I've ever seen you inebriated in any
Well,
form
I'm not
whatsoever.
inebriated. I'm just
Oh.
jacked up on caffeine.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Damn. I thought you were talking about
Which
maybe like a
no.
little like mushroom drink or
Oh
something like
no, no,
that.
no, no, not yet. I hope one day to talk to my doctor because we have more important things to wrangle right now. But once we get my main health shit under control, um, then oh god, JC said sorry, I'm not white. Holy shit.
Who
JC, you
even
know
said
what?
anything about that?
Damn.
You know what, JC? I'm going to block you so I never have to see your stupid face again because what a
Wait, don't
ridiculous
block me
fucking
yet. Let
thing
me
to
block
say.
him too. Say, don't remove him from the chat before I can block him.
Well, he might be in the
I'm
guest
done
list.
now.
I don't know, but whatever. What a loser. I
Okay,
don't
hold
even
on. Can
I
remember
I
the
did
fuck.
you
address
too.
this real quick?
What was I
First of all,
saying? Go
pagans
ahead.
do not summon demons.
Right.
We do not summon demons. That is a very common misconception, just like the misconception that Satanists do not work with Satan at all. That would be a completely different religion I'm not even sure the name of. A Satanist is just a metaphorical sense of against religion, against organized religion, and as a way of worshiping yourself. Not at all the same thing.
Right.
And someone said
What you were
demons aren't real. Oh boy.
right. What you were talking about, Yoda, was talking to your doctor about
Oh yes, yes,
potentially.
yes. Yes, so that's the mushroom thing. So yeah, one
Yeah.
of these days I'd like to look into microdosing mushrooms, but only if my doctor approves it. Because
That's
I've
fair.
been clean and sober for almost 39 years now, so I don't want to ruin
Yeah.
that streak. But I do want to see if I can live the remainder of my life without having to put up so much of a fight every day against depression.
Hmm.
So, because I've been doing it without medication for the whole time. I did try a couple, but I hated how they made me feel.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that microdosing that or some other kind of substance of that nature might do the trick.
Yeah, especially for depression in particular, I highly recommend the microdosing psilocybin. It's been also known to be extremely effective.
Yeah.
Um, it is wonderful. I will
Yeah,
say
the
though, as
success rate
someone,
is off the charts.
yeah, and I will say though, as someone, I mean, I also have chosen to live a sober lifestyle. However, when it happens, I'm getting fucking blitzed. I'm talking tits out, fucked up.
Yeah. My
When what
version of
happens?
that is doing the thing that I thought that I would never do, which is doing a TikTok dance.
Yeah. When I say when
When
it
he
happens,
finally
when Trump
pushes up
died, when
daisies, yeah,
yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely same.
when Dump
yeah,
decomposes, I am going to be dancing on TikTok and making a
yeah,
fucking fool of myself.
I will be dancing in the streets for weeks at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't
But
feel
anyway,
conflicted about that, like
right,
some people think it's disrespectful, but I'm like, how could it be if they're not around to be disrespected? You know what I
right.
mean?
Oh, but back to so I joined up initially because so Yoda knows this. You do not because I don't believe I've encountered you on this life. I am also a pagan. I'm also a highly educated, very intelligent person as well, or at least I like to think so. What I
You
find
seem like it.
Yeah, what I find interesting about the Christians, and because you mentioned like, oh, or isn't Christianity also against witchcraft? You're right, it is, and I find it funny when Christians talk shit about witchcraft, and they're like, but hang on, let me go anoint this with some sacred oil really quick.
Exactly.
And let me
Yeah.
pray to a higher power.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me
let me
go
summon
pray at the
angels.
Let me go kneel before the altar
Right.
after
Right.
anointing something with a
Which I
sacred
actually
oil.
need to clean my altar.
Right. And then light this incense and have holy smoke going through the place. Sure.
Yeah.
But no
Isn't that
witchcraft.
funny?
Whatever you do,
and
no
hold
witchcraft.
hands and sing songs for people.
Yeah.
But no witchcraft here. That's all. That's all horrible.
And have our mascot be a guy nailed to a cross bleeding. There's nothing weird about that.
Throwaway says pagan witches talking about other religions is nuts. Well, here's the thing. I was raised Southern Baptist.
Same. Actually, I was raised Southern Baptist as well.
So
Yeah.
wait, I want
with
to
a mix
address
of Catholicism as well, because
let me
my
address
grandmother
the
is Catholic.
let me address the idea of making fun of religion. Any religion making fun of any other religion is fucking goofy. Okay? Now, like when Christians make fun of like Mormons, for instance, or when they love to make fun of Scientologists because they're like, oh yeah, this alien Xenu came down and populated the earth, and I'm like, yeah, and you have a resurrected zombie Jew as your mascot, and you don't think anything of that.
Christianity would literally be modern day Scientology if it was introduced tomorrow.
Right.
It would be the exact same thing and seen the exact same way as Scientology is a cult because it's nothing different. The only thing different is the age.
Yeah, like literally, it's like L. Ron Hubbard was just a guy that we have photos of, we have videos of, and the reason why he's called L. Ron Hubbard is because someone else had a SAG card in Hollywood with his original name. So he's just a guy, just not like, who was Mormons? Joseph Smith, was that the guy?
Yep.
Yeah. So before we continue, we have Carlos. How you doing, Carlos?
Good afternoon. I just jumped on TikTok and I just wanted to say something very quickly and very simply. Born and raised Catholic, but having 45,000 different sects or fractures within Catholicism and arguing with another grown beep adult thinking that you have the right one is bogus. And with that, I'll step down and let you guys get back to your groove. But I started hearing you guys, and it's like, do I want to argue with an unknown person because I think my
defend the Roman Catholic religion.
145,000 sect within the umbrella is the right one and you're wrong. And it's like, no, thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that
So
you came
God,
up, Carlos.
Out of the 8 billion people on the earth, God only gonna save 145,000? That's
I'm
okay
sorry,
with y'all?
Say that again?
No, I wanted him to defend the Roman Catholicism religion, but I had a question because I know in Revelations they say they're only going to take 145,000.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I think that's more. That's more that 144,000 thing. That's more of a Jehovah's Witness thing. Which of course, because they had no idea that we were going to balloon up to 8 billion. And I was able to ask Jehovah about this because I was given a pamphlet on Revelation by a Jehovah, and then the next week they came and followed up about it, and I said I just want to make sure that I understand the premise of this is that when Christ comes back, he's going to whack everybody that doesn't believe in him, right? He said, yeah. I said, and you do realize that roughly 85% of the world's population, though religious, doesn't believe in Jesus Christ. He said, right. So I said, so that means Christ is going to murk 85% of the population, including men, women, and children, right? Yes. I said, are you okay with that? He said, yes. I said, you can leave now. And that was the end of my conversation with them, because that's fucking crazy.
I have a question to anyone who might possibly know the answer. Now, this could be very wrong, so nobody who happens to be Mormon take offense to this unless I am correct. But I've heard that Mormons believe that black people are only black because of sin. Now, I'm not sure if that's true or not because
Well,
I am not
they
Mormon.
changed it in 1978. They because because
They say it's like black and faith, or like black is
Mormonism has faced a couple of problems, right? Like they were really into polygamy. And then Utah was like, no, this is our religion. This is our stance. This is what we believe in. And then America said, well, then you can't be a state. And then they said, okay, we're getting rid of polygamy. And then fast forward into 1978, they had gotten so much backlash about their racism that they took that out of the book, supposedly, or they denounced it or whatever. But they're clearly racist.
yes. And you know they held slaves too, right?
What was that?
So, wait, so they
So they
changed
held.
it. So does that mean God changed his mind on how he felt?
Well, that's always a big question, right? Because, we have the Pope that has apparently said, no, well, what used to be isn't anymore. Like, the meat on Friday thing isn't true, and this isn't true, and that isn't true. So I don't know how that works.
The same things with Christians saying that we shouldn't be following the Old Testament anymore. So did God change his mind on what he wrote?
Well, no, see,
or-
Christians who say that are wrong about that, because Jesus Christ specifically said that he came to maintain the old laws and the old ways, and that they were immutable and permanent. And, he was here to carry out the work and word of God. So any Christian that says, oh, the New Testament changed everything, just doesn't know the source material.
So they either are, one, uneducated about their own religion, or two, they have to admit that slavery is okay. I did not mean to say that. I should have censored that. My apologies.
No, you can say that. But the thing is this. When you talk to most Christians, this is forget. Let me take the royal you away. I'll tell you my experience. I've been having this conversation for 45 years, and almost always I have known more about the Bible than the person that says they live their life by the Bible. Because I actually read the fucking thing, right? And I look it up all the time because people bring up different quotes that I've never seen before, or quotes that I haven't thought of in a while, and have different ideas about what they mean now. So I'm in the Bible pretty regularly, and these people never even read it once.
That's not surprising.
I mean, you'd think if you're basing your whole life on a book and on these, I'm not sure how to divide it up. Is it one God, two, three? I don't know how it works, but if you're championing Jesus Christ or you're championing God, I mean, doesn't it make sense to know like what the fuck you're talking about? Like, wouldn't it, like, because when you do finally read the book, you immediately understand how absurd it is. Rules like wearing the mixed fabric will get you murked. Having impure thoughts is a sin, and all this other shit. It doesn't make sense. Shellfish. Okay, oh good. I joke with Christians all the time. I'm like, do you ever wait outside of a Red Lobster with a baseball bat to ask people whether they had the halibut or the crabs? You know what I mean? Like, because if you live by that book, you would have to spend a lot of your waking hours murking other people for the horrible shit that the Bible says is against the rules.
Yeah. And it's
kinda
very
goofy.
obvious that they pick and choose what to believe, because when you look at specifically abortion clinics, Christians will wait outside to threaten and harass those women who go in without even asking what they're there for.
Right.
But you guys don't wait outside of seafood restaurants to do the same thing.
Right.
So why are you picking and choosing? You don't wait outside courthouses to see what they did. You
Right.
don't go into there without, you can actually go and just sit inside of a case. You don't have to have permission. You can just walk into a courthouse, walk into a room and decide, hey, I want to listen to this trial.
There is much more low-hanging fruit than that. How about you just ask people, do you know anybody who's divorced? Right?
The Bible
Well,
doesn't actually say anything against shmishmortion, ABs. The Bible actually
Yeah,
isn't
I
against
know
it
that.
whatsoever.
it actually encourages it with
It
talking
actually
about the bitter
encourages it.
waters. Right?
Yes, it provides a recipe for an abortificant. And also, if in the Bible doesn't consider fetuses to be people.
Right.
Because
First breath.
right. And if you murk somebody, the punishment for that is unaliving. However, if you cause a woman to lose a pregnancy, you pay a fine, the same that you would do if you damage property.
Right. And isn't it weird? Because this speaks to the illogic that religion introduces into society, right? Like in America, we still have capital punishment. So if you boil down all the legal language, what you're saying to somebody is, I want to teach you how bad murking someone is by murking you. That's completely
As if
illogical.
that's any better.
Yeah. That's by the way what the book In Cold Blood addresses. Has anyone not read the book?
I have not.
Okay.
Actually, if you give me a moment, I'm gonna get a pen and paper because I want to
Okay.
write that down.
Okay.
Just give me a few moments, please.
Yeah, take your time. So In Cold Blood, I thought as I was reading the book initially, because then I watched the film after that, but as I was reading the book in the beginning, there's a grisly multiple homicide depicted. And this was a real life thing that happened, I think in Kansas. And I was thinking that the title referred to those people who murked people and the people that were on DEATH row. Oh God, I hate talking like a child for fucking TikTok. Anyway, those people that were on the row for that. But what I realized is In Cold Blood was referring to the state, because the state was the only one who murked people in cold blood. Everybody else, it was a crime of passion, right? So imagine you're saying murking people is wrong, and to teach you that I'm going to murk you. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Do you know who it's by?
Truman Capote. As a matter of fact, he
How do you spell that?
invented In Cold Blood, you can spell, but Truman, Truman, Capote is Capote. Truman Capote. He invented an entire genre of literature with this book, which is fictionalized reality.
I'm so sorry, Yoda. This is so off of the topic, but
No worries.
you're gonna get a kick out of this one. Eggbutt in the comment says, we don't have any mountains on Earth. Hang with me. I said, I'm gonna need you to expand on that one. He said, no lie. Not a single mountain. They are actually remaining stumps of megalithic trees of Eden. Tabletop mountains in Africa and Devil's Work in Arizona. Here's the thing, Egg, but we have scientific proof that mountains are real and that often mountains are formed by tectonic collisions that then push up the ground and form mountains. Now there are some mountain ranges that are formed by erosion, such as the mountain range that I live in. Everyone talks about the Appalachians being the oldest mountain range on Earth. That is not true. I live in the Ozark Mountains. The Ozark Mountains are almost 3 times older than the Appalachians.
Where are those?
Southern Missouri and northern Arkansas.
I'm gonna have to visit
Riviera.
Yeah, the the Ozarks are 3 times older than the Appalachians, but they don't get any credit as a mountain range because they are not formed by tectonic collision. They are formed from, they used to be a giant plateau that over time eroded due to the water sources and all the rivers and creeks we have here to form the mountain range.
Yeah, and also for a time, North America was covered in a sheet of ice a mile high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it formed over millions of years from erosion, so it's not a traditional tectonic collision mountain range, but it is 3 times older than Appalachian. We have some weird shit that happens here.
Yeah, that's the least
Oh,
of
I'd
it.
love to hear about that.
It's you would if you're, so as a pagan, especially, you said that you are a pagan witch, right?
Yes.
You would love it here. Our entire mountain range here of the Ozarks is almost nothing but solid limestone and quartz.
Oh, I need to go.
You would love it. The energy is immaculate.
Ooh, I definitely need to go there.
Jeannie's here. Hello, Jeannie. Good to see you in the comments. So, yeah, I'll tell you. When I said earlier that I don't need mysticism, not that I don't enjoy mysticism, but I don't need mysticism in order to have a sense of the mystical or the amazing or the fascinating. Like just Earth alone is fascinating. You know, like I was lucky enough to find the one helicopter company in Las Vegas who actually landed in the Grand Canyon. And I did that with my then, I think we were married by that time. I think, yeah, my future ex-wife and I went into the Grand Canyon. And, you know, when you look at that thing up close, it is pretty fascinating. But at the end of the day, it's just a fucking ditch. And then if you really want to be fascinated, just look up. Just look up. I mean, the shit around us, you know, the earth is fascinating, and then everything above it is fascinating to me. I don't need to add mystical beings and all that other shit. I mean, it's fun to do. Like I said, I love stories about dragons, but you don't really need it. It's all right here in front of us.
To Brotherhood of Steel in the comments, stare at the portrait of God and you will turn into a believer. How long? Because I stared for a very long time. I was a believer and I was raised Christian, and I actually did pray to God at least 3 or 4 times a day for Him to save me from everything that I had growing up, and He never did. Nothing helped until I eventually started practicing witchcraft, and that was what helped me understand myself and be better with myself.
Also, how do you have a portrait of God?
Yeah, which God are we talking about?
Like the real one who was born in the Middle East, or the white man that Christians usually depict him as?
Also, that's not God. That's just supposedly Jesus.
Yeah, that's his
Brotherhood of
son, so
Steel,
not the same thing.
I've invited you up because I am curious to know which God you're referring to, because there are so many, and even God in the Bible admitted that there was more than one God. So which God are you referring to? And why would a portrait that was created by humans suddenly have magical ability to, you know, make you a believer? That's weird.
Exactly, because in any other context other than Christianity, y'all would call that witchcraft as well.
Yeah.
Eggbutt, the mountain guy, says there is only one creator. Well, prove it.
Women.
Yeah, Eggbutt.
The one creator of life is women, because we're the ones who give birth.
That's not true. Men
Well,
and
no,
women
yeah,
are
you're
the
right.
creators of life.
Men get women pregnant.
Yeah,
But
that's right. Without seed, fertile soil doesn't produce anything. Sorry, that's just the way it works.
True.
Right. So Eggbutt, aside from your goofy fucking name, why don't you come up and share some of your fascinating ideas with us? Because
And if you say God is female, then you cannot be a Christian, because Christianity says that God is a man.
Christianity
Father,
also
the
says
Son.
that women are subservient.
Yeah.
So if
Mhm.
women are to be subservient, then your God, by that logic, is also subservient.
That's a good point. I just tried bringing someone up. They come out. Okay, let me try that again. There we go.
They probably rejected it.
No, they requested up. So we have loading up right now is Adham.
The first one saying my name right. I've been 2 years here. You're the first one saying my name right.
Victory!
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
So how are you
Keep
doing
going.
today aside from that?
I'm okay, sir. How you doing? You good?
I am wonderful. Thank you for asking. So what's on your mind?
God is just in your imagination. Okay. Are we creatures, sir?
Are we creatures? Yes.
Yes. Creatures created or not?
I don't know.
I'm asking you.
I just answered.
How come you don't know? Do you have a son?
Do I have a son? I do.
Yeah. Okay. You created him or no? By the will of God.
I had help and I had a lot of fun, but yes.
So created.
Yeah, right. So I
created,
created,
right?
Right.
Okay. Behind this creation, there's what?
I don't know.
A creator.
Maybe. What proof do
Maybe.
you have that there's a
what do you
creator?
think? What do you think, people? Let's ask the other people.
Well, wait, before
What do you think, people?
we move on to other people, when you say, hold on a second, hold on. For some reason, Trump rules MAGA. Ugh.
Has
Yeah, sorry.
immediately teacupped. That's a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Anyway, yeah.
So wait. So this idea of saying I don't know to a question seems to be bewildering to believers. But the thing is that that's the humility of the scientific mind, is to be able to say there are questions that we don't have answers to. But the simple fact that we don't have answers to those questions doesn't mean automatically God is the answer for these things.
Yeah. Also, yes, I was created by my parents, who were created by their
Let's
parents.
get back to Adam. Okay, the first human being on Earth.
Well,
that's
we don't know.
Problem, though.
Yeah, we don't know
Why
if
is
Adam
it-
was the first human being on Earth.
How come you don't know? You're Christian or no?
No.
I'm not Christian, which
Most of the people here are Christian.
No, listen.
Nope.
Let's get away from taking polls all the time. Look.
No,
here's
Baba,
the
I want to
thing.
show you
You're-
facts, bro.
look,
I want to show
yeah,
you facts.
and if you reach to the Bible to show me facts, you've already lost. The Bible is a book written by human beings that has no verification outside of the Bible in any way, shape,
What about
or
the
form.
Quran? What about
the Quran, which is the Timu Bible? What about it?
Yeah, it's written by humans.
Yes.
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 If it's written
300
by
years.
Do you
after the Bible.
believe? Yeah. Do you believe that
Let's
that the moon?
please, let's take
Excuse
it
me.
point by point,
Excuse
sir.
me. Excuse me.
Let
You're
me
not running
answer-
this
let me
live.
answer- no,
You're
no.
not running this live. I am. Okay. So I'm going to ask you again. Do you believe that Allah split the moon in two?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the problem that we're having right now. We are a bunch of adults having an adult conversation, and you have come in with the childlike wonderment of a 5-year-old trying to prove that Santa Claus is real. So you're going to reference the Bible, you're going to reference the Quran, any holy book that you reference
Let's see
is not
if
evident.
I'm
You don't
saying
even have the
something right.
you
Bro,
don't
know what?
even have the self-control to let me finish the sentence. So that's why you're dropped. Okay? Reaching for the holy book as proof of the holy book, any book that you can point to, any religious tome, that is not proof of what is in the book. It's just proof that the book exists. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, and again, which I've said many times on other lives, if you point towards the Bible or the Quran for the proof of the existence of your deity, of the Abrahamic God, then by that same logic, I could tell you just read the Edda prose. It's proof that Odin exists.
Yeah.
Do you see how fucking ridiculous that sounds
Read Harry
to you?
Potter. Obviously, you know, what is it? What
Read
is the school?
Spider-Man. That's proof of
What's
Spider-Man.
Hogglesworth? What is the school?
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts.
Obviously, I didn't read it, right? So the point is that these fucking childlike people that come up here, and it's like, well, it was in a book. It's like, well, then every book is true. Then vampires exist, then unicorns exist, and dragons exist, fucking leprechauns exist. Like, is that if your proof is someone wrote it down,
There's
how the
plenty of
fuck
books
is that
about
proof
Santa
of
Claus.
everything?
Does he exist?
And Santa was actually based on a real person.
At least that was someone based on something real.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Chi-Town, what were you saying?
No. I was just saying they do say that our eyes can only see a certain tint of the color spectrum. Like we can't actually see our actual full reality around us. Like because our eyes can only see a certain
right,
spectrum
and
of
our
them.
ears only can hear in a certain spectrum. Okay,
Yeah.
and what does that mean?
That means that I guess our world or our reality around us is possibly different than what we're actually seeing in reality.
Let me quote Shakespeare. Let me quote Shakespeare to support you. This is what Hamlet said. He said, "There is more to heaven and earth, Horatio, than is dreamt of in your philosophy." And I agree 100%. We don't know everything. Absolutely. I think the fact that a dog can hear a sound that I can't hear is sort of evidence of another dimension. Right? Because if I can't hear it, where is it happening? If the dog can hear it and I can't, then there's another dimension that the dog is accessing, I guess, you know? So I get it. We don't necessarily have the ability to perceive everything. But again, that lack of ability is not proof that God exists.
You have a fan in the comments, Main Dad, says that apparently you went into one of his lives and you just think you're above everyone, using the wrong "your," by the way, which I pointed out. Said if you're going to insult someone, at least do it correctly. And he said, just pointing out how he was in my live. I was like, so you had to come to his live to whine about it?
Yeah.
Apparently, you left
really, that's kind of immature. I mean, if you don't like the way that he speaks to you, then just don't speak to him.
It's so simple to block people on here.
It is. It's so simple to just ignore the live, scroll past the live, block them. You do not have to come and harass people because you're bothered.
Right.
Well, I don't.
Anyways, everyone have a good day. I'm going to get off because I need to go clean my altar.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate it.
Of course.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So, Main Dad, you, I did the same thing. Why don't you request up and tell me what I did? Because right now you sound like a 5-year-old. Hey, it's good to see you. Let's see. Main Dad is requesting up. Excellent. Let's see. Oops, damn it. Missed it. Hold on. I will bring you up in just a few, as long as, oh, fuck. This app will not, there we go. Got it. Main Dad, how you doing today?
Good, Yoda. How are you?
I'm excellent. So what is it that I did on your live?
You followed Danny in, Grandpa Danny into my room because you guys are friends. And then when Grandpa Danny left, you just acted like a far left person and over talking everyone. I forget what they were talking about. I think it might have been the current sitting president, and I may be wrong, but just everyone in my room was like, "Wow, this guy just thinks he's above everyone, and every word he says is right."
So you read my mind and decided what I think, right?
No, I listened to your words.
And you read my mind. Telling me what I think is reading my mind.
Okay.
I have a question for clarification.
What's up? And even actually,
by the way, this must have been months ago.
Oh, this was a long time ago. I don't even know if you remember. You literally followed Grandpa.
No, I don't. I don't remember. Just like I don't remember my last fart. But
No, I'm saying
but
what. But that's how much of an impression you made.
so what is the point of your coming up and telling me that you didn't like the way I spoke on your live a while back?
Because how you acted in my life is no real point. I was just always like
Okay.
aggravated
So
by it.
you've been holding on to this for a long
No,
time, and now
I
you
just
have your
actually I
now
wanted.
you
I was
now you
always.
now you have the chance to
I
come
was
up and
always,
you've
always, always.
expressed
I
yourself.
was always, always,
So
always.
what else?
Because this is what you were doing in my life.
So
So this is what you were doing in my
Yeah.
life.
So guess what though? But in my life, I can shut you up as many times as I want to. Isn't that fun? That I can mute you. All right. So, you know, what
I
is
have
your
a
point?
question.
Go ahead. You can unmute yourself and answer Jessica's question.
Yeah, main dad, I have a question. When you say that he started acting like some far left person, what does that mean to you?
You don't know what the difference is between left and right?
Oh my God.
Oh,
See,
I'm fully
she
aware.
asked you a simple question, dude. What does that mean to you? Just fucking say it.
People
I
like
asked
Yoda.
specifically to
Yeah,
you.
he said his
What does
answer
it
was
mean
people
to
like
you?
Yoda. So people like me are far left to him. Okay.
Yes.
What
Even Grandpa Danny said it.
does that help you understand that better, Jessica?
Yeah, no, I've got a pretty good idea of where this guy's coming from. Here's the thing, main dad. I work in
I'm not left. I'm
Hey,
not
I'm
right.
still
I'm right down
speaking.
the.
Shut the fuck up.
Ooh, look at
So
that.
here's the thing. I work in politics. I'm very, very well aware of the difference between left and right, main dad. So I specifically asked, what does it mean to you? What part of a person's behavior tells you that they are quote unquote far left? What does far left mean to you?
Now you can unmute yourself. Can't figure out how to unmute yourself. Let me try and send an invite to unmute yourself. See if that helps you. Can you imagine carrying around this for months or longer and just to come up and sound like a complete fucking child? Go ahead, main dad.
Well, it's what you sounded like in my life.
There
And
you
I just
go.
thought, like,
You're still stuck on that.
You're
You're
still
still
avoiding the
stuck on that.
question as
So
well.
answer the
I don't
simple
want to answer
question.
Jessica's
You don't answer.
question.
Okay, so fuck right off then. Look at that. Wasn't that fun?
Also, Throwaway said we can tell you work in politics by your language or the way that you talk. Newsflash, lots of politicians curse. I'm around them all the fucking time.
Yeah, Donnie
all
curses. Donnie curses all the time. What's the big deal? What you suddenly you fuck, and by the way, I blocked main dad so I don't never have to hear his stupid voice again. But I love these fucking dump supporters that suddenly are offended by adult language. Isn't that hilarious? You're not offended by a guy who's a convicted felon. You're not offended by the same man who's an adjudicated rapist. You're not offended by the guy who's trampling all over the fucking Constitution and who also curses, but you're offended by Jessica cursing or my cursing? Come on, get the fuck over yourself.
Oh God, that's like the last live of yours that I was in. There was that woman, what was it? Sweet Mia, I think was her name. She was down in the comments just fucking going ham, saying that like things that we were talking about was bullshit and everything else. And I had said something. I'm like, so shut the fuck up. And she was like, I can't believe you're cursing. I'm like, lady, you've been cursing this whole time. Why are you acting offended?
Throwaway account says y'all are oblivious to the commenters. Isn't that ironic? I just read a comment. And here's the thing. Again, if you don't like how I run my live, you have my permission to fuck off. When I'm talking to someone, I pay attention to the conversation because that's the minimal amount of respect that I think is appropriate for a conversation. I don't divert my attention by reading the comments. In between, I sometimes glance at the comments, but I'm under no obligation to just stare at the comments. If I wanted to do that, I wouldn't bring people up.
Right. Also, to answer a question, in case because you don't read this person doesn't read the other comments. No, I'm not running. Fuck no, I'm not running. I said I work in politics, not that I am a politician. I am not a politician.
Yeah, and wrong you're. Why do they keep doing that?
I'm debating Christianity. What are you debating about it?
B1 Ussy says I was talking the guy. IW space as talking the guy. That's actually what I assume what he was trying to say. I'll try to convert that to normal English. I was talking to the guy. All right.
Okay.
About what?
Are you trying to say Yoda was...
I told you a miracle 3 times. So, what about
Who gives a shit? You guys think that like basic conception is a miracle.
Right. Right. The thing that happens 300,000 times a year.
Often but hey, by complete accident.
You're right. I'll tell you what, and that's only counting humans, by the way. That's not even counting animals. But I'll bring you up to see what you're trying to say. So, is it Eric? Oh, he ran away. Oh, Eric, what happened? B1 Ussy? What does that even mean? B1 Ussy 13. That's a weird thing. So, why'd you run away? I'm gonna invite you one more time, because you know
Said,
when
I
you
don't
talk
want
a lot
to
of
come
shit.
up.
Yeah, what does he say? I don't want to come up. Okay,
yeah,
so you
Eric,
accidentally.
I know he's running.
Right. So you accidentally accepted, which does happen. I get that. I don't want to come up. Well, then I don't want to hear you anymore. So I'm just gonna mute you for the rest of the live. Oh, there you go. I don't want to come up. Well, I don't want to hear you. There you
quit running your fucking mouth and thumb thugging in the comments.
Exactly. Now you don't have the option. Isn't that sad? God, I'll tell you. It's always a mixed bag, but there is a consistent theme to these lives. Oh, someone gave me a very nice heart. What is that called? Hand heart. Nice. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And that was Summerstar. I think Summerstar. So it seems that people, and of course I know this isn't 100%, but the people I encounter on these lives, they always start being very reasonable, and then in very short amounts of time they unravel. And it reminds me of the first few relationships I had where I started dating a crazy woman who was trying to hide the fact that she was crazy from me, and it never lasted more than a month. You know, once we got up to the month, then they started getting, more comfortable and couldn't keep the facade up, and then I would discover, oh yes, in fact, this is a crazy person, right? Yeah. And of course, that was partly me because I was choosing them, of course. So I will take responsibility for that side of the equation. But that doesn't diminish the fact that they were, in fact, crazy. And that's what it feels like with these people, that they come up and they're like, oh, how you doing today? Oh, good. How are you? Good. And so what do you think? Well, the proposition is this. Well, that doesn't seem to be proved. Ah! They just lose their shit right away at the least provocation, man. And it's like, how do you Dennis, what was his name? Dennis Leary used to say something like, life is hard, get a helmet. Like if you can't handle a difference of opinion, how do you get through life? How do you get through life being so fucking sensitive, or what Dave Chappelle would call a brittle spirit, right? How do you have such a brittle spirit that you can't hear anything different than what you think? That's fucking weird.
Right. On that note, I hate to dip, but I do have to get back to work. I've got to
Always a
do
pleasure.
something productive today.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming up as always.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. Folks, if anybody else wants to come up, feel free. If not, we can close it out. But I want to say thank you to the 50 or so people that have been lingering. It is a fascinating conversation. We have a question. Let's see. Now I can look at why don't players of a losing team give that guy God credit for losing? Yeah. Yeah. In sports and war, right? There's always someone wrong about God's anointment, right? Like both teams in a sporting competition and both sides in a war are convinced that they are the chosen ones, right? That they are the ones that thanks Hayes, that God is going to make victorious, but one of them is always wrong. And like at the Oscars, let's say, when some pampered adult who gets paid to do what 5-year-olds do for free every day, which is make believe, gets up and thanks God for their award. I find that to be among the most obnoxious fucking things. And when they go to the other nominees, why don't those people thank God for losing? Why don't they ever thank God for losing? Oh, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior for snatching victory from me today. I don't hear that. Why is that? It's kind of weird. You thank God for the good things. Why don't you thank him for the horrible things? Because according to you, he does it all, right? That's why I didn't thank God when I survived my brain tumor surgery, is because then I would have had to thank him for giving me the tumor to begin with. And since I don't believe that there is a God, that seemed impractical to me, right? But that's just my talking monkey brain trying to figure shit out, all right? Anyway, folks, it's been a pleasure. I will likely be back tonight because it's going to be a short week for me because I'm going to be busy this weekend, but I'm going to try to come back every day before Friday so that I can get my hours in and speak to as many people as possible. Normally, I'm here Monday through Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, I usually come up and add a noon show. That might be changing soon because what I'm realizing lately is I don't really like doing shows on Monday. I mean, it's good to do as many shows as possible because that's what builds an audience, and that's one of the things I haven't been good at doing. But I don't like doing it on Monday because on Monday I publish content from my other channel, which is on the tube, which is Old Guy New Rock, oldguy.newrock, if you want to find it. And if you want to find other contents on TikTok, I've got Coach Yoddah, which is coach.yoddah. But anyway, we have someone else coming up, and looks like here's something. Here's why.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Good. Um, you don't believe in a God, period, correct?
Yeah, I don't see any evidence of God's existence anywhere except for people saying that they believe in God.
Okay, so can I show you from a logical um foundation that we can come to a logical conclusion that a God can exist?
Probably not, but you can try.
All right. Premise one: the universe changes, so it has potential, right?
I don't know.
No, I'm asking you, like the
Yeah, and I
universe.
answered. I don't know. The universe
So
changes. How does the
yeah,
universe change?
it has passive potential. Like for example, it can become a actual to a become a potential to an actual. Like for example,
Yeah.
If I was to take a cold cup of water that's actually cold, it's actually cold, right? And put it in a microwave, it has the potential to become hot. The microwave is the actualizer, taking it from cold to hot. So a potential becoming an actual.
Okay.
Get what I'm saying?
And what does that have to do with the universe?
The universe has potential, right? It has the potential to change.
You gave me an example about a human invention where you take cold water to hot. What does that have to do with the universe?
I just gave you a very dumbed down example of potential
Okay,
to
so
actual.
smarten it up, maybe.
Okay. Does the universe change at all? Can the universe change?
I don't know if it does change or if it can change. I
So
don't
nothing.
know.
Anything at all in the universe. For example, like just anything at all in the universe. Can anything at all change? That's including us. We're in the universe.
I don't. Well, are you asking me about the universe or us?
Oh my god. um.
Because
Uh. The,
humans have changed. There's evidence that
yeah.
humans have changed, but
Does the
I
universe have
don't.
parts?
It seems to like there's
Okay.
space
So
and there's heavenly bodies and there's gas.
okay. Okay. So universe has parts. Therefore, it has potential to change.
Okay, since you can't exactly explain what that means, I'll say fine. Go ahead. What's the next
Okay.
point?
Okay. Potential needs something already actual to make it actual. Right.
Okay,
So you agree?
it sounds like maybe. Go ahead.
Okay. This cannot depend on. Hold on. Hold on. So in this chain of a bunch of dependent actualizer, there has to be a first in this chain to actualize everything else. We would call that pure act.
Okay.
So do you agree to that?
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
I appreciate you, man. You walking
pure,
with me. So I was trying to say it again.
pure act. I mean, this sounds like a Chat GPT list, but okay. So
Pure act is what we would call God.
go over the pure act thing again because I don't think I was totally dialed in.
Okay. Okay. So everything we observe has dependent or derivative actualization power. For example, I'm gonna go back to the cup of water in the microwave. The microwave isn't dependent of itself to actualize the water to hot. It depends on electricity plugged into a wall. And that electricity depends on this thing and that thing. You get what I'm going a little bit here?
Sort of, but okay.
Okay. Like for example, I can't actualize myself. My parents had to actualize me. They're already existing. They had to, the birds and the bees thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we
So
have a
basically,
whole
you're alluding to the idea that somehow the universe had a beginning and therefore it had to be created by something.
the universe has potential, so something had to actualize it. Yes. So yeah, what you
Okay.
said, but
Okay.
yeah, to an
Okay.
extent, yeah.
Okay. So the thing about that is that that's a theory and that's a claim, and I get that. And the problem is that we can't prove or disprove that, right? We don't know. We simply don't know. We don't know whether the universe was created, if it was what it was created by, or did the universe just always exist? We don't know.
Well, that would be an infinite regress, and we just know that it's logical, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not possible, right? And again, I'm not making the claim that I know. What I'm telling you is that we have decided, we have determined that
Hmm.
the universe might have had a beginning because we can go back to the Big Bang, but we know that something was going on before the Big Bang that's referred to as the hot dense state of the universe. So clearly, before the Big Bang, if the Big Bang was indeed the beginning, which we don't know if it was, but if it
Uh-huh.
was the beginning of the universe, then we know that there was something going on before the universe started. But we can't prove that to be a fact, so it is possible that the universe always existed.
Yeah, so even for the scenario I give, the person that invented this these premises and stuff, they believe that the universe could be infinite. So that doesn't affect this.
Okay.
So even if the universe is still infinite, something had to actualize that potential that was already actual,
That's a
right?
claim. That's a claim, and
But
it's
can you
possible.
show
But
me otherwise?
if something is that, and this is the problem with trying to grasp the infinite, right? If something is infinite, then it had no beginning.
Well, how can I? Well, the universe couldn't be infinite. For example, like let's
Or
use
or
a.
is infinite referring to no end?
Okay, that's different. That's different. But I'm saying as far as the beginning, like it.
Okay.
Well, before I continue, do you believe the universe had a beginning? And you particularly?
I really don't know. I don't have a concrete belief around it because it to me it's one of those beliefs that doesn't matter one way or the other. It doesn't matter what I believe about it. The only it's like when the Catholics threatened Galileo's life because he said that the Earth revolves around the moon. I mean, around the sun. And the funny thing is, whether you believe that the earth revolves around the sun or the sun revolves around the earth or the earth is flat or the earth is round, what exactly changes based on those beliefs? Nothing. So it doesn't really matter whether I believe the universe had a beginning because I can't prove it. I have no evidence to support my belief, so I don't even worry about it. I think about it sometimes, but I don't really concern myself with it.
Okay, so do you concede that someone could logically argue that God is necessary for existence? Not saying that it is, but somebody could logically argue that using the laws of logic.
You can certainly argue that. The problem is you can't
Okay.
prove it.
Yeah, but we can't really prove. We can't even prove we're talking right now, really.
Technically speaking, I agree. So and so that's why I have no problem acknowledging that people can believe in God the same way that people can believe in fairies, and they can believe in unicorns, and they can believe in leprechauns and giants and dragons. People can believe in anything they want to believe in, right? And I don't care what it is that you believe in. It doesn't matter because it has no potential to affect me at all.
Hmm.
However, your behavior has potential to affect me, but your belief doesn't. And so once we go from this is what I believe to this is what's true, now that's another conversation. Because once you say God exists, then you have this huge burden of proof to give us evidence for that
Well, we
claim.
have proof.
Like
The universe has potential. The universe didn't have to exist, right?
that's not proof of God.
Oh, hold up. The universe had potential. Something had to actualize that.
That's a claim. That's not proof.
Yeah, but something had to actualize it, right?
But that's not proof. So repeating your
So,
claim over and over again doesn't give it more proof.
so what's the proof that there isn't a God?
There is no proof that there isn't a God, just like there's no proof that there's no unicorns. I can't prove a negative. That's why I don't assert a negative. What I assert is the only place I've seen evidence of God is in people saying, I believe in God. Other than that, I've seen no evidence of it. No one has ever seen evidence of God. And right now, you're not providing evidence of God.
All right. Thank you for having me up. I hope you have a
My
great day,
pleasure.
man.
All right. Have a great day. See, folks, that's how you have a conversation. Two people can disagree on a subject and still have an agreeable conversation, right? Very, very easy. So, let's see, what else we got here? Oh, wow, Dolly Parton passed away. That sucks. I got to tell you, I invite everybody to look up this photo of Dolly Parton. I think it's a black and white photo when from 1978. I think she's in a cowboy hat. She was a fucking smoke show. And I remember I was a teenager. I was 14 in 1978. And, you know, I wasn't getting laid yet, so I didn't fully connect to what I was seeing. I mean, the big jugs, of course. But as an adult, looking back on her in the mid 70s, holy crap. I mean, yeah, gaudy makeup and the whole fucking thing, but goddamn, she was a gorgeous fucking woman. So if she passed away, and by the way, I like Dolly Parton's version of I Will Always Love You better than Whitney Houston's version. I'll say it, and that's that. So, folks, thanks for hanging out with me for almost 2 hours. It's been an interesting day. I'm glad we ended it on a very productive conversation. And even if you don't think it was productive, it was certainly civil. So, with that, again, Monday through Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays, I add a noon or noon-ish show. Today I started 35 minutes late, but hey, no one's paying me for this, so who gives a fuck? Anyway, with that, until we meet again, peace, love, and granola. Talk to you soon.